Pelagius and Pelagianism. Pelagius was a British monk and theologian who lived at the end of the 4th century, early 5th century. He taught that humans have the ability to overcome sin and to live righteously without God's grace. He overemphasizes the power of free will so much that he argued that human beings can follow God's commandments without any help from God, entirely on their own, through their own efforts. Pelagius also denied the doctrine of original sin, teaching that Adam's sin was merely a bad example rather than something that corrupted the human being in his nature, or that it was something that is passed down from Adam to his descendants. According to Pelagius, every person is born morally innocent without any inherent inclination towards sin. He also taught that grace is nice to have, it can help, but grace is not necessary for salvation, that human beings entirely on their own, through their own efforts, can work their way into heaven. Grace can help, but it is not necessary. He also believed that baptism do not play any role within the concept of salvation, that baptism isn't necessary to be saved or to be washed from the sin of the original fall of Adam and Eve in Genesis 3. Pelagius also taught that Jesus' death on the cross, his sacrifice, was not really a sacrifice to save us, but that it was only a mere example that was set to us by Christ, how we should live as Christians, how we should sacrifice our own lives for each other and for God. But it didn't save us. It was a mere example of how to live a good Christian life. Now, of course, all these teachings of Pelagius brought him into a clash with the church and the way that the church always understood the Bible and original sin and the whole concept of salvation. But in his clash with the church and the church's understanding, he particularly clashed with St. Augustine, who argued that Adam's sin indeed wounded human beings in their nature and left humanity in need of the grace of God for salvation. So, eventually the church condemned Pelagius and Pelagianism at several councils and synods, including the Synod of Carthage in the year 411 to 418, and ultimately at the Council of Ephesus in 431, and also at the Council of Orange in the year 529, where actually semi-Pelagianism was condemned. At these councils, the Church affirmed that original sin affects all humanity, and that baptism is indeed necessary to cleanse us from original sin, and that salvation is only possible through the grace of God, not by human effort alone. It was these decisions that helped shape Catholic teaching on grace and free will, confirming that salvation is a cooperating process, a cooperation between humans and God. But always it is initiated and made possible by the grace of God.